So let's talk new releases here. It's been an amazing year so far. I've been so impressed, and you know, it seems like with each year that goes by, I'm almost less likely to be just blown away by a new release, at least right off the bat. You know, there's been some stuff released last year, the year before, where I didn't like it in the beginning so much. Over time, I grew to like it, appreciate it, but it still didn't give me that initial impression of like, holy crap, that's amazing. That's very rare, especially for me with new releases, because I've smelled so many things. And you also take a look at the direction that a lot of the new releases are going. It's getting more rare, I think, for a lot of us. But we've had a couple this year already that's just been mind-blowing for me. So we're going to go over those. We're also going to go over a couple that were released last year, or I guess at least one of them was. Technically maybe two, depending on how you want to look at it. But we've got 5 new fragrances, designer fragrances, that are worth the retail price 1,000%. Not even have to think about it. So I will link these down below to retailers, or at least the ones that are currently available, depending on when this video goes out. I'm not fully sure, but I did pay retail for all of these. I did purchase all of these. I did not get sent any of these for free. I bought them with my own money, some of which I bought overseas. By the time you factor in all of that, I'm paying above retail, and to me, still worth it. And I think that's saying something. So before we start though, let me know down below, what are some of your favorite new releases of this year or last year so far? And you know, what are some ones that you paid retail for and you're okay with that 100%? Also, big shout out to my channel members. You guys are awesome, always supporting the channel behind the scenes. If you guys want to become a channel member and watch videos like this one in advance, hit the join button down below. Let's get into the fun here. We're going to start off with Gentleman Eau de Parfum Reserve Privé. So we've got Iris, Chestnut, Whiskey. Man, I mean, I could just go on forever about this one. And I'm okay with that. I've done my first impressions. I've shot my review. Don't know if you've seen it yet. It may not be out yet, but I have shot it, right? I've been wearing this one a lot. And now another video where I'm featuring this one. And I think I also featured this one in a top 10 recently as well. In a video where I talked about some of the best releases within the past 5 years. Without a doubt, this one made it in there. I knew it had to, because it truly, to me, is that good. So the easiest way to break this one down is to take a look at something like Gentleman Eau de Parfum and Dior Homme Intense and sprinkle in a boozy note and also sprinkle in some chestnut. So the booziness, I want to clarify, is something where you need to let it fully dry down, and also maybe for some of you, give it a few wearings. I've seen a lot of comments where people say there's no whiskey in here, it's not boozy at all. You can pick up on it, you just need to test it more, you need to give it some time, and if you smell it, not even so much off the atomizer, like right now I can't smell the whiskey, but if you get it on skin and you give it a good wearing, you pick up on the boozy accords. It's almost like this oak, bourbon booziness. Even though it's a whiskey, which you would kind of contribute to be a brighter top note, it's more of a rich rum, you know, brandy, that sort of thing. And it smells amazing. The chestnut note, you know, kind of used in Stronger With You and Replica by the Fireplace. You get a little bit of that chestnut in here, which smells amazing. Kind of gives it a different flavor, a different twist. And of course, the iris is what it's all about. But what I like about this is there's a whole bunch of a chocolatey cacao note. I don't even think they listed that, but I pick up on a ton of it. And it kind of puts it more in the realm of Dior Homme Intense. Because Gentleman Eau de Parfum, it's got a little bit of that, but the primary focus is like vanilla and iris. So this one has more of that chocolatey smell. So it's chocolatey, iris, a little bit of a, you know, a whiskey rum accord in here, a whole heavy dose of a sweetness, and it smells absolutely amazing. I wish that the 100 ml bottle was available when I picked this one up, but they only had this, what is it, 60 milliliter, something like that. Can't even read it, 60 mils. So I will be buying a new bottle, a 100 ml, and you will be seeing that showing up on the channel soon. I paid retail for this one as soon as it dropped on their website, and I don't regret that one bit. I would do it again in a heartbeat. It's that good. And also, it is fully available now. I will link it down below. Next up, another one that blew me away in the best way possible. I was so shocked when I smelled this one because really I wasn't sure what to expect. And it's one of those fragrances where, you know, it's an EDP. This line has been out since the 90s, and we're just now getting an EDP of this. Of course, it's Acqua di Gio Eau de Parfum, right? You know, they've had all the other flankers under the sun, and now they're coming full circle and releasing an EDP, which it had me thinking earlier when I was putting this video together. And a few years down the road, are we going to get a Parfum as well? Kind of circling back to that style. I don't know. I would be okay with that because with how good this Eau de Parfum turned out, I'm like, bring it on, man. I mean, this is absolutely amazing. Now, this is one that I did end up ordering from overseas. Yeah, you got all those other fees and stuff that are involved. You have to wait for it. There's a risk that it might get lost and you may not even get it at all, right? But it was worth all of that. This here is amazing. C notes, mineral notes, clary sage, lavender, and orange are some of the main notes. So you'll see that it gets a kind of a comparison to Acqua di Gio Profondo because you're getting the mineral notes in here, but also the original Acqua di Gio, of course. So how I've described this one is it's definitely a much more mature take on Acqua di Gio, the original. You know, when you compare the two, this one's more aromatic, it's more mature. So it's almost like a Senza. There's bits and pieces of a Senza. There's a little sprinkle of Profondo. To me, there's almost a little dash of Profumo as well, kind of that maturity, that mysterious factor. It's almost like a mashup of all of those. Now, it's not quite that simple either, but when I'm trying to figure out how I can describe this to you in the best way possible without you having smelled it yet, that's kind of how I would approach it, because it's not exactly like any of those. It's not exactly like the original, so it's not like they took the original DNA and made it stronger. It's not that simple. But it's also not exactly like a Senza either. I did a side-by-side comparison in my first impression. There were differences there. It's also not exactly like Profondo or Profumo either. Nothing like Absolute. It's still really its own fragrance. It has its own identity, but it does pull inspiration in bits and pieces and ultimately creates a much more mature, aromatic, and in a way kind of updated Acqua di Gio. And I'm here for it 100%. I love this one. And I'm so glad I was able to get my hands on it now. So glad it's being released around this time, spring, you know, before we get into summer, because I can't wait to wear this one heavily when it's warm outside. I'm going to hit it hard. I'm going to wear this one all summer because I think this is absolutely beautiful. And when this one becomes available here in the United States to purchase at retail, I would not think twice about it. I would run and scoop it up as quick as you can. Realistically, you're probably not going to see this one on discounters until winter time, fall or winter. So if you want to wait until then, by all means, go for it. Also take a look at the prices of these on discounters anyway. Profondo, Profumo, you're saving sometimes maybe $15, $20 off retail. So you make the decision. Retail price for me, no brainer. Next up, we have actually a 2021 release. It's Lalique White and Black. Vanilla, cardamom, lavender, and ambroxan are some of the main notes. Maybe that'll sound familiar to you if you haven't seen the videos surrounding this one yet. It smells a good amount like Layton. Not 100% exact, you know, it's not a 100% clone. There isn't one of anything in my opinion. Every clone or inspired by has some differences. So for people that go into this stuff expecting it to be exactly the same for 40 bucks, it's just very unrealistic. So don't do that, but it definitely smells more like it than not for sure. It smells amazing. It's warm, it's spicy. You get that nice apple note up top. Cinnamon, sweetness. Oh, I love it. I love Layton. I love this fragrance. And again, about $40 currently online for this one. Layton, you're looking at 200 plus. One thing I do want to mention about this one as well is that it is a limited edition. At least that's what the brand is saying. So I would say if you have interest in this one, just go ahead and pick it up. Again, you're looking at about $40 for this, which for the quality, for the performance, for the price, or the scent rather, is not bad for the price at all. In fact, it's quite above average in that price point. I think it's very nice. Lalique, they put out some great stuff. This is one of them for sure. And so who knows how long it's going to be produced and then it becomes rare, right? Prices are going to go up on this one as soon as stock dries up. You guys know the drill. And at that point, it's really going to get hyped up. So if you have any sort of interest, I would get one now while you can. It was released last year, so hopefully we could get it for a couple years, but who really knows for sure. But I know it is Layton, done in a very, very nice way. A little bit of a twist as well, but for the price, it's easily one of my favorite alternatives. Next up, another new release from this year. It is Loam Eau de Parfum. Man, I love this one. Absolutely adore this one. Geranium, lavender, cognac, and oak are some of the main notes. I also get that Loam apple smell. So I think it's like a mixture of ginger and something else in the original Loam, maybe the woods, the spices that gives off this apple smell. I don't know what it is, but ever since the beginning, when I first smelled Loam back in the day, I thought it had an apple note, and then I got online and it doesn't have one listed, but I still smell apple. The original Loam is so special to me. Love that fragrance. I mean, I even say it smells like an apple orchard. It's kind of one of my go-to fall fragrances if I'm a bit more dressed up or if I just want to give off this gentlemanly smell. Love the original Loam. How many times can I say that in this video? I love the original Loam. So when they released an Eau de Parfum, I mean, it's kind of the trend now. We've got this, we've got Acqua di Gio Eau de Parfum, we've got Azzaro Chrome Eau de Parfum. It's the year of the Eau de Parfums, people. So when they released this one, I was like, okay, this could either go one way or not. You know, the coloration is completely different. Very dark, very rich, very ambery. But it has that Loam DNA with a bit of a boozy kick. You get the oak, you get the cognac, and that's something I picked up on in the first impressions. I didn't know there was a booziness in here because when I was looking at the note breakdown on Parfumo, they had oak, but they didn't have cognac or any sort of booziness. And so I even said in the first impressions, after it had settled down on my skin for a bit, I'm like, I'm picking up this slight booziness, almost like this oak barrel bourbon type of smell. And so it's something you can pick up on. It's not imaginary. It's not just seeing the note and then thinking, oh, it smells boozy. Like, you can pick up on it in the dry down on your skin, and it smells amazing. A boozy take on Loam, sign me up. It's amazing. It's a gentleman's fragrance, and this here I think is going to be a star, at least for me. And last up, we have Dior Homme Sport 2021, but it was released in 2022. We've got lemon, elemy, woody notes. It's really what you get. Ozonic notes also. Very, very nice. And I can't even tell you how much better this one is than the 2017. Or I guess I can. I mean, it's worlds better than the 2017. So at this point, it would be hard for me to rank them just because all the other ones now are discontinued. 2008, 2012, those have been long gone. 2017 now is going to start to trickle out of existence. If everything was in production, this would probably be very high on the list. Doesn't have the iris. They took that out starting with the 2017. I'm okay with it. It has this very impactful lemon smell. I mean, it hits you right there when you spray it. Lemon, you get some woods in here. The elemy kind of giving it this also woody smell, but kind of this resinous approach, kind of a fresh resins woodiness. The ozonic notes give it this light airiness. It smells amazing. Very nice spring scent, very nice summer scent. But what I like is it's a sport fragrance with maturity and sophistication and depth and richness as well. It's not stripped back and boring and lame. There's more going on with this one than meets the eye, and I encourage you to smell it. I paid full retail when it came out on Dior's website. No regrets at all. Kind of a similar deal here. They're not going to be discounted all that much anyway, but still, retail price, no problem for me. Easily one of the better Dior Homme Sports, and for me, again, miles better than the 2017. That's going to do it for me, guys. That is 5 new designer fragrances that are 100% worth the retail price. I love these. I mean, we are off to such a fantastic, strong start, and it's only March, middle of March at the time I'm recording this one here. Who knows when you're going to see it, but, I mean, we're not even halfway through the year, and some amazing things have been dropped. This might be a year for the books, honestly, in terms of new releases, at least as long as I've been doing this, going on 5 years. We are off to an incredible start here. We've got some big things being put out. It's only the beginning. So you can imagine, I'll probably do this video again later on in this year if we still have some good things being released. But that's going to do it for me. Let me know down below what are some fragrances, new fragrances that you paid retail for that you do not regret at all. And remember, I will link these down below, at least the ones that you can get, so you can pick them up for yourself. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.